What's up, everyone? I'm back at y'all with another video. Now for this one, I'm doing a re-ranking of the Fast and Furious franchise from worst to best. Now, I have done a ranking video of this franchise before, of course, but this one's going to be a little bit different of a ranking, because some of my thoughts have changed around certain movies. But yeah, I'm a huge diehard Fast and Furious fan. There's y'all that have watched my videos for a while probably know that by now. The Fast and Furious is literally my shit. I love Fast and Furious. Like, I love all the movies. But there's at least one that has to be the worst one, in my opinion. And let's begin right now. Coming up number 10 is Fast and Furious, the fourth Fast and Furious film. Now, this film, it had some good story details, but this film was boring a lot. Like, this film did have a few great moments and a lot of heart and stuff, but it just wasn't that great of a film. I mean, yes, I know they bring all these other characters back because the third one they didn't have Vin Diesel. He didn't show up until like the very end of the third one, so he basically wasn't in the third one. But you know, it's a good movie, and of course they bring Brian O'Connor back in this film. But it's a good movie, but it's not great. It's not what I want out of a Fast and Furious movie because there's a lot of slow parts in this film. Coming in at my number 9 is Too Fast and Furious. Now, this film is kind of underrated. I know a lot of people hate this film. I don't hate it. I enjoy it. Miles better than the fourth film. I just enjoy this film. It's very fun. They introduced us all to Tyrese Gibson's character, Roman Pierce, which is awesome. So yeah, this franchise is a universe, kind of like the Marvel universe. I know it's a crazy comparison, but kind of is, you know, because they introduce newer characters and then they end up showing up in the later movies. So yeah, this film, I do enjoy it. It's just ain't my favorite. Coming in at my number 8 is The Fast and the Furious. Now I understand some people even put this as the number 1. I enjoyed this film. I really did. And I loved how in the 9th movie, which is a much higher on the list, I like how they, you know, explain, like, before all this stuff that happened in this movie, they explain that, a lot of stuff in the 9th movie that you understand the first film even more, which is incredible. That's why that's one of the big reasons Fast 9 is much higher on the list. But yeah, I love this movie. This movie ain't just about racing. A lot of people think that. It's not just about racing. It has a story about an undercover cop trying to track down Dominic Toretto, pretty much, because Dominic Toretto is a criminal. So that's basically what it is. And then you got these 3 bad guys that both of them end up teaming up to take down by the end. And then you do got some good racing scenes here and there in the film. I enjoyed the first film. Coming in at my number 7 is The Fast and the Furious Tokyo Drift. I freaking love this movie. I don't get the hate at all. This movie is underrated. This movie is very underrated. This movie is one of the best in the franchise. One of the best. Not the best, but one of the best. And this movie is the story evolved around racing in this movie. I love the setting in Tokyo. And a lot of people that keep bitching about Fast and Furious not being just about racing anymore always complains about this movie, which it doesn't make any sense because this movie has racing all the way through it and it's about racing. This movie is 100% a racing movie. So yeah, I enjoyed this film. It's a very fun movie. Coming in at my number 6 is Fast 8: The Fate of the Furious. Now, I've heard some people hate this movie. I'm like, how can y'all hate this movie? It's a fun movie, you know. That's what I love about this franchise. They do something different. And this film, Dominic Toretto went rogue, and you finally found out why he went rogue in this film. And I freaking love this movie. I know a lot of people don't, but I love it. I love that racing scene at the beginning of the movie and stuff. So yeah, very enjoyable film. Coming in at the number 5 is Fast and Furious 6. My top 5. Now, Fast and Furious 6 is a good movie. Because I loved how, you know, they explain how Letty died. I love that. And I love the story in part 6. You know, I love the action. The action is great. And then, of course, you got the end credit scene of Jason Statham coming into the picture, turning into the villain. You know, Jason Statham's the villain in Part 7, which is, of course, is much higher on the list. Now, Fast and Furious 6, very enjoyable. Love this movie. Coming up, number 4 is Hobbes and Shaw. Fast and Furious presents Hobbes and Shaw. Now, of course, I had to add this on the list because, you know, it's part of the franchise. This is a whole kind of like a this is a cinematic universe of its own, so it's awesome. So, Fast and Furious presents Hobbs and Shaw. Very fun movie. It surprised me in the theater. The action's insane. The fight scenes are insane. The explosions are insane. The villain is insane. I love the villain Brixton in this film. It just has some of the best fight scenes in the franchise. It has some of the best camera work out of the whole franchise. So yeah. The Fast and Furious presents Hobbs and Shaw. Fantastic film. I loved it. It has action from start to finish. That's what I loved about it. Next up, we got in my top 3 now. Is Fast 5. Now, Fast 5, like, how can this not be on the list, right? Like, come on now. Like, Fast 5, it's freaking incredible. Like, this movie reinvented the action genre. This movie is the movie that reinvented the action genre and in full swing, you know, because before, you know, 80s action movies were dying out. We needed a great movie that reminded all of us what the 80s action was like. And this movie definitely reminded everyone of that. And yeah, so this movie, you know, I was a decent Fast and Furious fan before this movie came out, you know, but I wasn't a full swing Fast and Furious fan. But I was a decent Fast and Furious fan. So that being said, this movie made me a huge, diehard fan of this franchise. And Fast 5 is responsible for all the great action scenes we got from the other movies and all the great storytelling from the other movies. So yeah, Fast 5 had to be in my top 3. It's an amazing film. Action-packed film, and they made the characters even more likable than they was in the other movies, which is incredible. Which is, they was already likable in all the movies, but they made them even more likable in this one, which is crazy. That's how powerful this franchise is. I love it. Now coming up at number 2. Now this was hard. Like, you know, I watched Fast 9 a lot of other times, so a little bit of my thoughts have changed, but I had to go on and off between which one's my favorite, between Part 7 and Part 9. So, like, when I ranked it last time, Fast 9 was at my number 1. But that was when I first saw it. But now it's at my number 2. Now, Fast 9 is at my number 2. Now, I love this movie. The story between these characters, the backstories between these characters are great. The action was incredible. I enjoyed all the flashback scenes, you know, learning a little bit about their backstory. You learn about Dom's backstory and, of course, Jacob Toretto's backstory, his brother's backstory. And you got to learn a little bit about, like, you got Han's backstory. Some of it didn't make any sense in his backstory, but it did at the same time. It was just weird that like, how they explained how Han died. It was just weird that the way they explained it. But, yeah. And the action is incredible. Action was just top-notch greatness. I just enjoyed this movie a lot. This movie had everything I loved about the franchise. This movie is just incredible in my opinion. This movie deserved to be my number 2. Love this movie to death. And I cannot wait to see what they do with Fast 10 because I'm just freaking hyped for Fast 10. Unbelievable, jaw-dropping action, and that is the damn truth. That's what it says right there, and that is the damn truth. This movie had everything. A lot of heart, a lot of emotions, and great freaking action, and great story. That's what I loved about it so much. So yeah, now coming up number 1, and I also love that end credit scene with Jason Statham shows up beating the shit out of somebody in a punching bag. That shit was awesome. This movie had everything I loved about the franchise. Coming up number 1 is Furious 7. Now this movie, when I saw this in theaters, I was blown the freak away. Now, how you gonna make the trailers look incredible and then make the movie even better than the trailers? Like, this movie, the trailers were incredible, and then the movie ended up being even better than the actual trailers. So, Furious 7 was great. You got director James Wan directed this film, and James Wan is actually my favorite director. That ain't the only reason I put it at my number one. It was my favorite. Even I didn't even know James Wan directed it because I didn't pay attention to the name. I was just paying attention to the whole movie. I didn't know who directed it back when this came out. But this movie, the reason it's my number one, because I love that vengeance story in this film of Jason Statham trying to get revenge of the team who pretty much almost killed his brother. And this film had everything I love about this franchise. Like, that's why it was so hard for me to put either Fast 9 or Furious 7 at number one, because it was hard, because those two films were incredible in my opinion. Furious 7 had jaw-dropping action, like freaking Jason Statham and The Rock fight scene was incredible. And you have Jason Statham and Vin Diesel's character, Dom, Nick Toretto versus, of course, Deckard Shaw. Like, I love that fight scene at the end. That weapon fight scene at the end was incredible. And then I also loved that fight scene with Letty, which is played like, Letty. And Ronda Rousey. I love that fight scene. Was freaking epic. I just freaking love it. This film had a lot of action in it, and I love the fight scene between Tony Jaa and freaking Paul Walker. I love that fight scene in there. There was a lot of great explosions in the film. There was a lot of great laughs, which is Fast 9, of course. Fast 9 and Hobbes and Shaw had a lot of great laughs as well. But Furious 7 is just freaking incredible. I love this film. I'm obsessed with this franchise, and I cannot wait to see what they do with Fast and Furious 10 and 11. And then the other spin-offs that they're possibly planning. So yeah, I'm excited for those. So yeah, I guess that's it for this video. Let me know in the comments below, how would y'all rank the Fast and Furious franchise? I would love to see y'all's rankings down below. So yeah, I guess that's it for this video. If y'all enjoyed this video, please hit the like button, please subscribe and share, and also hit the bell so you know when the video is uploaded. Peace out. Hope y'all enjoyed this video, and I'm out. Peace.